I'm going to free up 3 feet of clearance on the front of my tractor. And again, if you have no reason to have your loader on, I'm telling you, it's really simple to take them off. And you might want to think about doing that more often. And once you remove this pin, it's going to allow it to come up out of that pocket. The entire weight of the front loader is on the bucket and on those back kickstands. All right, so there you have it. That is how easy it is to remove the front loader on your tractor. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mike and you're watching Triple T Acres. And in today's video, we are going to be removing the front loader on my tractor. Now, this is an LS tractor, but the very similar steps are going to be with many other tractor brands. So don't count this video out. I'm sure it could definitely apply to what you might already have. Another thing we're going to be going over in this video is why you might be wanting to take your loader off more often than you already are. I just recently started taking mine off and I wish I would have done it way sooner. I didn't realize how easy it was. So I'm going to show you how I do it on mine and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, so before I take this loader off, I want to measure how much clearance I'm going to be getting when I remove this loader on the front. So one of the main reasons why you might want to remove your loader is you need to get this thing in a little bit tighter spaces. If you do not need your loader function at all, and you don't need it for a while, it's really smart to take this thing off because right off the bat, if I go from the front of my bumper, I'm going to free up 3 feet of clearance on the front of my tractor. Now, 3 feet might not seem like that much, but if you have had a tractor long enough, you understand that when you get in these tighter places, you're constantly having to lift the loader arms up into the air so you can make a tight corner. And anytime you're traveling with the arms up in the air, it kind of makes it a little unsafe to be doing. So you want these things to be down more often than they're up in the air, obviously. But if you remove them, you don't have to do that at all. And I'm telling you right now, I wish I would have done this way sooner. So right off the rip, you're gonna clear 3 feet of clearance in the front, and my bucket is a little bit wider than my tractor itself, so you're gonna get some clearance on just being able to fit in between tighter spaces. Another reason why I take my loader off is that the specs on this loader itself, just the loader arms, that's without the bucket, is 700 pounds. 700 pounds is quite a bit, and if you're traveling with your tractor, I'm sure you've done it. You're removing it, especially if you're in road gear, and those arms are just shaking and hitting really, really hard. I imagine that that adds wear and tear on your tractor. And again, if you have no reason to have your loader on, I'm telling you, it's really simple to take them off, and you might want to think about doing that more often. I'm going to show you some of these connections. We're going to get it disconnected and show you how easy it is. So we're on the other side of the tractor here, and right here is the loader arm. And on LS, on at least my LS tractor, the hydraulic lines are kind of tucked in a safe place back here, which I really like where they've positioned these. Same concept on several of the other tractor brands. So you might see one mounted on the outside, many different places they might be mounted. So if you look here on my tractor, these lines are color coded. I have blue rubber caps. These are kind of dust caps, keep the dust out of your hydraulic lines, but when they're connected, they're obviously loose. You want to make sure that when you remove them, that you're able to put them in the exact same position that you had when you removed them. And if you don't have a color code system like LS did for me, you might want to get a paint pen or find a way to mark them or number them. That way you get the hydraulic lines back in the same place. Because if you don't, your curl before is going to be a dump. These will all kind of mix and match if you don't do it, and your loader arm will be completely out of whack and you won't know what the heck is going on. Make sure that before you remove this, you make sure you label your hydraulic lines. All right, one of the first things you want to do is you want to get your loader arms up in the air. And on my tractor, and most tractors, you're going to have these little kickstands. So let me bring the camera over here and give you a better look on how I remove these kickstands. Okay, so very similar to most tractors, what you're going to do for mine is you slide this up, it's spring loaded, and then the kickstand comes down. Once the kickstand comes down, it's got a little set here. Put it in place, make the leg flat. Do the same thing on the other side. All right, so now we got the kickstands down. This is when you're gonna put your loader arms down, and it is going to rest on the kickstands and the flat feet. All right, so it's on the kickstands. Now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna pull some of these pins. I'm gonna get off and give you a better look at that. All right, at this point, you got to remove this pin. You got a little pocket here that thing sets on, and once you remove this pin, it's going to allow it to come up out of that pocket. So on both sides of your tractor, you're going to have a pin that you're going to remove, and if this is really tight, you got to release some of the pressure. And what I do is I move the loader arm, I curl the bucket until it gets loose. I just felt some loose. You gotta move the bucket back and forth until you get that pin to get really loose. And there it goes. Just twist it a little bit and it should come right out. It's really important to make sure you keep your hydraulic lines connected here, because use them to lift it out of the pocket. Pin came out a lot easier over here. All right, so we've removed the lower pins on each loader arm. This is where we can use the tractor's hydraulics to lift the loader arm up and out of that C pocket, holds that top post. You'll see when I curl the bucket, it should lift right out of, and maybe it's not curled. You kind of got to mess with it a little bit. Push down, lift up. There it goes. There it is. You're out of the pocket here. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. This little C pocket here and this top post finally slid up and out. And now the entire weight of the front loader is on the bucket and on those back kickstands. At this point, all we have to do is remove these hydraulic lines, and we are completely off of these loader arms. So now that I got the tractor off, another thing I like to do is get the pressure off of the line. And what you're gonna wanna do is take your loader function and kind of swim it around. And that will remove all of the pressure off to the hydraulic lines. All right, now that we've done that, there should be no pressure on these quick releases. So just a pull back on the sleeve and it slides right out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 lines there, and then I actually have a third function that goes all the way up here. All right, that should be it. And at this point, you want to just make sure that your hydraulic lines are up and out of the way, because you definitely don't want to be dragging these things off. So I got those disconnected. Now I want to take my caps, make sure I cover up each one of these female ends, because the last thing you want to do is introduce dirt into these little pockets here. All right, so we should be fully disconnected. I should be able to start my tractor and pull right out of it. All right, so there you have it. That is how easy it is to remove the front loader on your tractor. Again, this is an LS tractor. It should be very, very similar on your tractor. Something that I'm going to do while this thing is off, and in this little C pocket here, I'm gonna add some grease, because that has got to be a pretty bad wear point. I'm looking at it now, and it definitely needs it. Maybe I'll add some grease to where that pin goes in there too. But yeah, look how much more room that I have on the front of my tractor. That easy. There should be no reason why that you just leave the front loader on your tractor and just add additional wear and tear to your tractor. And you can get a lot tighter spaces with it off. I'm actually going to be tilling gardens up, and I will take these to some smaller lots in town that have fences, and I know that it's going to be way easier that I don't have the front loader on the front of my tractor that I'm going to have to be lifting up, or even not even be able to fit in certain areas because of it. Now that it's off, I should be able to do that. Now that it is off the tractor, I'm going to show you how easy it is to put it back on. It's not going to be step by step, because it should be just what you've seen in reverse. So let's see how long it takes me to get this thing reconnected. Now, another important thing I wanted to mention is when you remove your loader, make sure that you put it on a level surface. I'm obviously inside my garage here with concrete floor, so it is definitely really level. So I use a really low gear, make sure I do slow movements. I mainly just want to get right in the middle of the arms. You need it to be pretty lined up. Nice and easy, get between those pockets. Okay, now that I'm underneath these top pins, I need to reconnect my hydraulic lines so that I can lower that back into those pockets. I need to turn the tractor off for that first. All right, feed these lines back down. I'm gonna remove all my dust caps. Again, these are color coded. It's really important that you put them back in the exact place. So I got blue on blue. Hydraulic lines are back in place. Now they're connected. You start your tractor back up and you should have full function of the loader again. And what I'm trying to do is get these to lower back into those pockets. So it looks like I need to scoot forward just a hair. They'll slide, should slide right down in that pocket. All right, there it goes. You're gonna leave your tractor on because you're gonna have to move it around a little bit to get this hole lined up so that you could shove the pin back in there. This is that bottom pin. So I'm gonna move it around. That looks good. Sometimes you gotta give it a little hammer encouragement. Not much, should tap right in. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, you can tell here that the hole is not as in line. I'm gonna reach across here. Looks pretty good. Perfect. Pin in, back in business. Now, we got the pins in, it's sitting in the pocket. Now we lift our loader arms up in the air. Shut the tractor off because we are good to go. All I gotta do now is get these kickstands back. Hold that up. And these, how these work is they have a little spring-loaded system. You pull them up, right in. Let's do the same on the other side. Perfect. All right, that's how easy it is to remove and put back on your front loader arms. I hope that this encourages you to do that. I'm telling you, these arms on my tractor weigh 700 plus pounds. The bucket alone is several hundred pounds, and taking that wear and tear off of this tractor, I'm sure is going to make a difference. I'll leave it on if I'm gonna be using it, but if I'm not gonna be using my loader, why put the wear and tear on the tractor? Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We've got tons of different videos on my channel when it comes to food plots. We've got pond maintenance, tractors, you name it. There's so much more to come, and I would love for you to join the ride with me. So until next time, guys, we'll see you in the next video.